On the real side, where have the people made in America that Dr. King lived and was killed for, where have they gone? Part 2, on WBAI's Under the Learning Tree. I'm Emmet Abati Doe. I stepped off the subway at Rockaway Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. For the first time since 1954, I had returned to my old neighborhood that held so many positive and other memories that helped me be what and who I am today. 619 Rockaway Avenue, the projects in Brownsville, just blocks away from Amboy Street, fame home of the Jewish gang of young thugs and killers of the same name. Google Louis Buckhalter. A book called The Amboy Dukes about this nest of criminals was published in the 1940s. The book became a movie in 1949 as The City Across the River. Louis Buckhalter is one of the star characters in Ron Ehring's lecture, The Jews of Sing Sing. Years later, after the crime-fighting prosecutor Thomas E. Dewey became governor and executed Louis Buckhalter and two other Jewish gang mobsters, Brooklyn became a safe place where decent people could live unmolested and raise children. It was in that community of harmony I participated in the first National Negro History Week program. The event was sponsored by a new organization made up of local residents. They call themselves the Neighbors, Negroes, Jews, Puerto Ricans, a white, and Thelma Davis, the Jamaican who went on to open a string of hair-weaving salons in the Big Apple called Wonderweave after her daughter. I posted their group photograph at MySpace. I attended public schools PS 25 in Harlem and PS 175 and 125 and PS 66 in Brownsville. Growing up, I watched the Jewish and white families move to the new upper-income all-white public housing projects the city had built for them. Soon it was just us, the Puerto Ricans, a few poor whites, and other blacks from the Caribbean. Darkness by now had overtaken the last rays of light. Yet, undeterred by the new stories of bloody Brownsville, I walked to the door of my old apartment, 3F, and was struck by how much smaller the stairs, elevator, and lobby was against recollections now 5.5 decades old. I had to make one more stop. I had to say thank you and goodbye to PS 175. I walked the 4 blocks by instinct and soon stood looking at the building whose walls remembered events which changed lives. Under the glow of lights, the old building stood silent and proud, carrying her age like myself very well. I still have my 6th grade class picture, taken on the main entry steps, now guarded by a locked gate. It was inside those walls that I became aware of the power of words and the majesty of the great dame herself, Miss Helen Keller, an event that moves me to wonderment, awe, humility, gratitude, and thanksgivings to this day. But where are my people, I whispered to myself, as I walked back along Rockaway Avenue to catch the train to my next destination. A question first whispered now became a persistent, nagging echo as I traced my footsteps in what used to be the Jewish neighborhood of Mount Eden Avenue and the Grand Concourse in the Bronx, where I stood on the exact spot when at 16 years of age I chose to be homeless and sleep in an abandoned automobile for 6 weeks in the dead of winter, with snow on the ground, shivering myself to sleep each night, wrapped in newspaper 1 block from a heated house. And as I gazed up at the tall steeple atop the Ephesus Church at 123rd Street in Harlem, my former church home, the question now would not be denied. Where are my people, the people made in America? Where have they gone? The people made in America, my people, are the direct descendants of those prisoners taken in over 300 years of warfare on Africa and Africans, and sold into the hells of North America, my people, who survived the horrors of the Middle Passage and the terror and agonies of the breeding and forced labor camps they euphemistically call plantations. Next week, Part 3 of Where Have the People Made in America that Dr. King lived and was killed for? Where have they gone? Visit myspace.com/Really Quitting America. For On the Real Side, Under the Learning Tree, April 3rd, 2008, I'm Emmet Abati Doe.
Thank you for listening. Please support the men who speak for the empowerment of our people and the strengthening of our men. To send a donation via PayPal, please send funds to Abati Doe and the number 2 at yahoo.com. Even the smallest donation can help make a big impact. For more self-empowering wisdom, personal one-on-one guidance for African men, and for coaching in powerful business strategies, please contact Mr. Emmet Abati Doe at that address. Thank you for your support.